I'll make another prediction to you. The next flag that will come under assault, and it will not be long, is the American flag.
How far is this going to go? Where does it stop? How far do you go?
Slippery slope, Mike?
Slippery slope, yeah.
You know who else has been doing some cultural cleansing these days? These guys. Mark my words. The left's cultural crusade will not stop with the Confederate flag.
As you might expect, there's some real hot takes out there as the backlash over the Confederate flag rolls on. In South Carolina, where all this began, the state legislature has voted to debate removing the flag from the State House grounds, but there are some lawmakers, at least 11 by the Charleston Post and Courier's count, who believe the Confederate battle flag should stay put. Among them, Republican State Representative Bill Chumley, who says the issue over the flag has been settled.
I think that the misuse and the miseducation of the flag has probably pushed it to this point. My constituents are calling and talking to me a lot about it, and that's the way they feel.
The conversation did not end there, as Chumley questioned not only the focus on the flag, but whether the 9 victims of last week's shooting at Emanuel AME Church in Charleston could have done more to stop the gunman.
We're focusing on the wrong thing here. We need to be focusing on the 9 families that are left and see that this doesn't happen again. These people sat in there and waited their turn to be shot. That's sad. And somebody in there with a means of self-defense could have stopped this, and we'd have had less funerals than we're having.
You're turning this into a gun debate? If those 9 families asked you to take down that flag, would you do it?
You said guns. Why didn't somebody just do something? You know, I mean, why? I mean, you've got one skinny person shooting a gun. You know, I mean, we need to do what we can. But no, that's.
Well, I mean, I want to make sure I understand what you're telling me. Are you asking that these people should have tackled him? These women should have fought him? That
I don't know what the answer was, but I know it's really, really horrible for 9 people to be shot, and I understand that he reloaded his gun during the process. That's upsetting.
Joining me now, South Carolina State Representative Justin Bamberg, who called for a public apology from his colleague, Mr. Chumley, who has since apologized. Representative, thank you for joining us tonight. I should read what Mr. Chumley's statement today. My view, which I was clumsily trying to express, was that it is painfully regrettable that someone was not able to intervene in this demented killer's life to stop him right up to the moment he squeezed the trigger. Please let me be clear. The responsibility for the despicable murders in Charleston rests solely on the murderer. If any of my remarks suggested differently, I am deeply sorry. Your response, Representative.
Well, Chris, thank you first and foremost for having me here tonight. I'll tell you, when I saw that last night, I was really bothered. It offended me. It upset me. And I know that if the families were watching and had heard the words that he said, you know, essentially blaming the victims for their own demise, that is terribly troubling. So I actually took the time to sleep on it to see how I felt this morning. And this morning, I felt the same exact way. So I saw fit to send a letter to my cohorts in the General Assembly, specifically the House of Representatives, and point out that I felt his words dishonored the body and the state of South Carolina. And given the climate and what's going on right now in the state, he owed the families an apology for what he said.
There are now, as far as we can tell from the Post-Courier, which is keeping a whip count, 34 of your colleagues in the House who have yet to answer the Post and Courier or any other reporters about where they stand on this issue. 10 refused to answer, 12 undecided. Can you give us a sense of what those conversations in the State House are like?
Well, you know, you've got folks who are going to wait. They're going to wait to state their position publicly. You also more likely have some folks who just haven't responded. Maybe they haven't checked their voicemails or have missed some phone calls. But I think the flag is coming down. And, you know, I actually had someone ask me earlier today, they said, well, do you think the 10 or 11 who have stated opposition to the flag coming down are going to stand in the way of the flag coming down? And I patted them on the shoulder and smiled a little bit. They're not standing in the way. Where they're standing is on the side of the train tracks, and the train of progress is going to be pulling out of the station here shortly, and they're either going to get on and ride along with us or they're going to miss it. And up until the vote, even after the vote, should they want to jump on the train, I will open the door, reach down, and pull them up as a brother or a sister, and we can move the state forward together.
So what I'm hearing from you is you are not sweating this vote.
No, sir. At this time, I'm not concerned about the vote. I think most people recognize that given the fact that this flag, while it does not represent hate for everyone, there are people who take pride in it, and it's a family legacy and heritage thing. People understand that this flag has become a symbol of hate for a lot of people, and for a lot of people's ancestors, this flag was used to terrorize and used with murders. It needs to come down. It's time for it to come down, and we're never going to be able to move forward as a state unless it does come down.
All right, South Carolina State Representative Justin Bamberg, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much, Chris.